Hi, I'm Open National Trainer Lynn Heffley, here to present Bridging the Gap in Physical Education. I am a retired physical education teacher, president of Literature Enhanced Physical Education, and YouTube developer of Brain Bites, HPE with Hef, Tech Bites with Hef, and Animotions. You can contact me through my email or through Twitter account listed here. You can also visit my YouTube channel and website for more physical education resources. OPENphysed is a community service project of US Games and BSN Sports. Open provides free curriculum resources to physical education teachers and activity leaders. As of this presentation, we have served over 118,000 teachers and the 62 million students associated with them, and provided them with over $70 million worth of educational tools. I am proud to be an Open National Trainer and always start my presentations by giving thanks to US Games and BSN Sports for supporting me and this project. Bridging the Gap is the efforts of teachers and administrators to develop curriculum to remediate the learning that has been forgotten and or not provided because of the changes to the educational environment during the pandemic. These factors might have included school closures, online learning, and access to digital resources. Learning loss in physical education could be for a variety of influences. Some students were entirely virtual, which required teachers to rely on homemade equipment or no equipment at all. These classes focused primarily on fitness, with teachers in some situations unable to see whether students were actually participating if cameras were not required. Teachers with hybrid classes, where half of the students were virtual and half were in person, still had the virtual restrictions along with in-person requirements that might have included social distancing, exertion limitations, and restrictions or changes in teaching space. All of these circumstances led to adapting curriculum and instruction. Furthermore, some districts even waived the physical education requirement entirely, leaving students the option to participate voluntarily or not at all. Beyond the school-related reasons for learning loss, students also encountered environmental influences. Because of restrictions on group gatherings and activities during the pandemic, we can be pretty certain that our students spent more time in front of a screen and on a couch and less time in physical pursuits. Many households simply didn't have the space inside or out for safe and highly active movement. And finally, the social and emotional learning opportunities for our students were limited to primarily family members. So what will that look like in your class this school year? In grades K to 2, we can expect a gap in motor skill development. Second graders may need review and remediation, and first graders can be expected to be on a kindergarten level in locomotor and manipulative skills. Students entering third grade may also need review and practice with these skills. Third through fifth grade students would have been working on combining skills and small-sided team play. However, because of restrictions both in and out of school, children do not have the opportunity to learn skills in school or in community programs. This general lack of physical activity will undoubtedly lead to physical fitness gaps in the upper grades. Middle school and high school students did not assess or create goals to maintain and or improve fitness. The lack of school guidance, in combination with an increase in sedentary time, will have contributed to the gap. We also have some bigger concerns when re-entering schools. The pandemic has been traumatic to varying degrees for us and our students. Some students may have lost loved ones, become homeless, or suffered from other traumas as a result of the pressures put on families during the pandemic. Teachers should become familiar with trauma-informed teaching. This pedagogy requires purposeful planning for actively establishing a culture of safety, empowerment, and healing. In physical education, This will mean starting your school year creating a safe environment both physically and emotionally for our students. It means that you lead with an optimistic outlook so students feel empowered to change their world. And it requires us to be consistent in these safe and optimistic behaviors so that healing can occur. Another big picture concern is where to start. If we set a goal to reach all of the Shape America or state outcomes as we have in the prior years, we might find ourselves and our students overwhelmed. Open has tried to address this concern with priority outcomes. These outcomes are not meant to replace your standards. They were established to prioritize which outcomes absolutely need to be addressed if we are to graduate physically literate, health-conscious adults. You can read the full rationale for the outcomes at the link below. Our first priority as educators is to teach our students to value physical activity. An individual that doesn't value activity will not prioritize it throughout their life. Second, students must develop some movement skill competencies. Individuals who do not have the skills to move will also lack the confidence to move, thus reducing the odds that they will become lifelong movers. In conjunction with learning how to move, students will also need to know why we move. The knowledge of how exercise benefits our health and longevity is crucial. And finally, students must be taught to demonstrate responsible behaviors within physical activity settings in order to ensure everyone can fully value and enjoy physical activity. Let's get started on specifics. Kindergarten to second grade will struggle with static and dynamic balance, moving with personal space, locomotor skill performance, direction, pathways, levels, and speed. They will need to work on keeping control of a variety of equipment and establishing personal responsibility, safety, and etiquette. OPENphysed has created a module called the Fun Routine to begin the school year that focuses on making the classroom management roles enjoyable. Fun is the number one reason that students K-2 find value in physical activity. If you have visited the OPENphysed website in the past, you are familiar with a two-page lesson plan layout. Beginning this year, Open has condensed its layout into activity cards. Each card has a set of learning targets. There are 4 targets: skill, cognitive, physical activity, and social emotional learning. In this lesson, Traffic Time in the Garage, students will be working on balance and control. They will be learning the classroom rule of starting and stopping to music. They will be active using a variety of locomotor skills and demonstrate respect through kind words and actions. Next on the card is a list of target vocabulary. The posters of these academic vocabulary words are included in the full module. For this activity, spots are placed around the teaching space. Students start on a spot. When the music starts, the students pretend to drive around the garage without moving over spots. When the music stops, students move to an empty spot and park, being sure to move safely and with respect for others. Each activity card includes developmental modifications for differentiation. There are also discussion starters. These questions can be used throughout the class and focus on a specific learning target or vocabulary. In this lesson, they focus on what respect looks like. The next suggested lesson in the Fun Routine module focuses on demonstrating respect by sharing equipment. You will notice that some of the learning targets and vocabulary are the same as in the first lesson. Each lesson in the module purposefully plans for practicing of previously learned skills and then building in a new skill. In this lesson, Hula Hoop Hideouts, students will begin in hoops. These hideouts keep them safe from Bigfoot. When the music starts, students move around the forest saying hello to friends. When the music stops, students make their way safely to a hideout and share the hideout with a new friend. The lesson will look something like this. Modifications for this lesson include using different body parts as a base of support in the hoop and adding a tagger to play the role of Bigfoot. Each round of play can be separated by the use of discussion starters that focus on the new vocabulary word sharing and how it relates to the previous word respect. The next progression in setting up your fun physical education classroom routine is to highlight respect for equipment. In this lesson, The Fragile Moving Company, students will show respect for equipment by moving crystals from one spot to another, like this. To modify this lesson, students can be given assistive equipment to make moving the crystals easier or more difficult. Students can also work together in groups to make the lesson cooperative. To access the full Fun Routine module, go to the Open website and click on the Back to School tab. In grades 3 to 5, we can expect a physical activity gap due to the fact that students have had some limitations on their freedom to move for at least some part of the last 18 months. They will not have had opportunities to use manipulative skills in both static and dynamic situations. They will have had limited opportunities for both structured and unstructured play with peers. This could lead to delays in interpersonal skills and responsible behaviors. Finally, grades 3 to 5 is when we would normally start focusing on fitness knowledge, so students will need instruction and/or remediation in the link between physical activity, physical fitness, and emotional health. To address the physical activity gap at grades 3 through 5, Open has created the Team Fitness Race module. Let's take a virtual field trip to the Open site to see what this module looks like. So here we are on the Open homepage, and Bridging the Gap is right up top, but you're going to scroll down and you'll see that there is right here the Team Fitness Adventure module. So we're going to click on that. And as we scroll down, we'll see that there are module resources, individual activities, and rules and rights, plus the Believe in You empowerment journals and other resources. We're going to take a look at the complete module, and it's in a PDF version. So here you have what the module will look like, the cover. You'll have your essential questions and priority outcomes. And then when you take a look at the module block plan, this is how it's set up. So on day 1, you have an instant adventure, followed by an academic language focus. So you'll present the instant activity as soon as the students come in, and then you'll take the time to go over the language focus. Then your next activity will be Team Giants, Wizards, and Elves, and your academic language focuses on flexibility. Then you'll finish up the lesson with your closing adventure, Express Yourself, with an academic language focus on emotion. So you're going back and forth from some kind of cognitive knowledge to some kind of activity. Now, these are just suggestions. You can pick and choose from the module however you would like, but there's some purposeful planning here about how you can meet your essential goals with this unit. Now, as we look at the activity cards, you'll see the setup is in quadrants. So all of the activities, the instant activities, this is an instant fitness adventure, and all of them are set up in these quadrants, which makes it routine for your students. Okay. Then as you scroll down, you'll see these are closing fitness adventures, instant activities, closing fitness adventure, listed right there in the corner, which activity it is. Once those are finished, these are all the resources that you will need to perform all the activities that you can print out and place on your walls or at each station. These are followed by the academic language cards, and there are quite a few of them that you can post on a word wall so that you can address them as you go through the unit. Once we finished with all the academic vocabulary, you'll have some holistic rubrics and universal design suggestions. So that's what the grades 3 to 5 module looks like, and other modules have a similar format to that. All right, let's head back. While the Teen Fitness Adventure module was developed specifically for bridging the gap, other open modules can be used as well. For example, the Personal and Social Responsibility module ties physical activity with social emotional learning in standard-based lessons through cooperative challenges using both skill and fitness activities. Let's take a look.
You have 10 minutes to finish your research. You rush into searching on Google, then you find a title that sounds credible. You enter the page and start reading.
Robotics Lab. And for Robotics Lab, we are going to work on safety, because we're going to have to move safely in our space. Person with the beanbag, hold it up high and down. Person with the beanbag, guess what? You have a new job. You are no longer a physical education teacher. You now are an evil mad scientist. Mad scientists. You have created 2 robots. The people who do not have the beanbag stand back to back. Mad scientists. When the music comes on, you need to remain still. The robots, however, are activated by music, and they will start to march in opposite directions since they're back to back. Robots. The only way you can change direction is if your mad scientist taps you on the shoulder with the beanbag. Whatever shoulder they tap you on, you have to turn in that direction 90 degrees and march in that direction. So mad scientists, that's how you control your robots. Robots, if you get to the point where you are about to run into somebody else, you throw your hands up in the air and you make the most obnoxious robot noise you possibly can. To let your mad scientist know that you have run into a problem. Same thing if you're about to run into another object or some chairs.
Robotics lab is a really fun cooperative task, but the real learning from the activity comes from debriefing. Here are some scaffolded questions you can use to help students develop a safety plan for physical education. What physical activities do you like to do with your friends? What do you like about being active with your friends? How is safety related to having fun with your friends during physical activity? How can you recognize safe behaviors? How would you compare and contrast safe behaviors with dangerous behaviors? Can you predict what would happen in our robotics lab activity if students acted in ways that were not safe? Let's develop a plan that we can follow if any of us see unsafe behaviors. Middle school and high school students may struggle with fitness this school year. They may have difficulty moving for long periods of time because they have had inadequate opportunities to access and train for personal fitness. They have not had access to health-related technology that the schools provide and did not have the guidance for planning personal fitness plans. They also may not have had the previous year's data to help set up meaningful goals for a plan. The OPENphysed module created to help bridge the fitness gap in middle school and high school uses team-based Tabata challenges. Let's take a look at a few of those lessons.
It's time for Tabata Hot Potato. For this activity, you will need a ball, groups of students, and the Tabata app. To play this activity, your students, when the Tabata music begins, will start passing the ball like it's a hot potato. When the Tabata session is over, the person with the ball will choose an exercise and tell the group what component of health-related fitness that exercise will enhance. Let's take a look.
Exercise.
Get those hands ready. What happens if you drop it? Oh no! Hands too soft.
Rest.
Quad stretch. Flexibility.
Exercise.
Everybody gets touches. Oh my goodness.
Rest.
Squats. Muscular strength.
The two major focuses of this team challenge are to perform one perfect repetition of a fitness exercise and to regulate behavior. As the teacher, your role is to help students become mindful of how they perform exercises. This lesson is intended to create a classroom atmosphere where students are aware of how their behavior affects their team's performance as well as their own. This lesson can be modified to be used as an instant activity for almost any sport unit by using different types of balls. For example, basketballs, soccer balls, or volleyballs. You can also increase the degree of difficulty by having the students move in a clockwise direction while passing the ball.
It's time for Tabata Scramble. For this activity, you'll need exercise task cards. You'll place the task cards on the cones, and your students will arrange themselves each at a different cone. When the music starts, your students will do the task in front of them. When the music stops, they will scramble to a new cone with a new task card. Let's take a look.
Starting your Tabata workout. Get ready. Exercise. Rest.
Take some hard ones.
Exercise.
Let me just hold it at the bottom there too.
Rest.
This challenge builds upon the last challenge by allowing students to do multiple repetitions with a focus on proper form. The discussions around this activity are based on how performance affects safety, as well as how cooperation is related to a positive learning environment. This lesson can be made easier by having students rotate one position clockwise instead of randomly. It can be made more challenging by having groups move together to another set of cones after each round. The Tabata Team Challenge was developed specifically for bridging the gap, but there are other modules on the OpenPhys Ed website that can also help with the fitness gap. The Middle School Fitness Knowledge module has task cards, self-assessments, activity logs, nutritional components, and a fitness plan with goal-setting tools. Let's take a look at one of the lessons.
As experts in online education, Purdue University Global gives you all the flexibility you need.
It's called the 20-meter rock, paper, scissors challenge. Now, this is something that you can do to work with students on pacer without saying, hey, today we're going to go practice the pacer. Obviously, we don't have 20 meters in here. We're moving a little gingerly this morning. Here's the activity. When you come out, you're going to jog out, or this morning because we're short and we're moving slow, we can walk out to our partner. So if I'm on this side, I come out to my partner. We meet at the green cones and we play rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3, go. Rock beats scissors. She's going to choose an exercise for us to do. Okay, so we're going to go back to our lines. We're going to do the exercise real quick. Just do 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And then boom, we come back out to the middle again. So if your students are doing this, they're getting to the end, we come back to the middle, and we play again. 1, 2, 3, boom. Okay, so now I get to choose the exercise. And then we go back to our line. All right?
As you can see, the Bridging the Gap series of modules focus not only on physical activity, but also building a positive classroom environment. Open has just 3 classroom rules: respect for self, respect for others, and respect for the things we use. For more tools on how to set up a positive classroom environment, look under the Curriculum Resource tab and then search through Best Practices. While there are only 3 classroom rules, the social emotional learning that takes place to adhere by those rules is more complex. Open uses the castle.org website to help guide and develop tools for teaching SEL concepts. One such tool is the Believe in You Empowerment Rights. The Castle core competencies are shown here in the center illustration. There are 5 competencies: responsible decision-making, self-management, self-awareness, relationship skills, and social awareness. Open has created the empowerment rights to help students in physical education understand how their actions relate to these competencies. So, by teaching students how to make choices about how to share their greatness, we are teaching them responsible decision-making. By guiding them to act on positive motivations, we are working toward self-management. By creating an environment where they can live optimistically, they will become self-aware. By teaching them how to communicate with their unique voice, we develop relationship skills. And by fostering the act of respecting self and others, we teach social awareness. The use of the empowerment rights vocabulary helps give students a positive, active vision of what social emotional behavior looks like. To help break down the empowerment rights, Varsity Brands, in conjunction with Open, now offers a free student empowerment journal to help students process emotions and find optimism throughout the entire 40-week school year. The journals are available in free digital formats as well as physical printed journals to support the SEL needs of all students. Let's take a virtual field trip to the Believe in You site on Open. Okay, so here we are on the Open website, and if you go to Curriculum Resources and then scroll down to Believe in You, it'll take you to this page, Varsity Brands, and there's our spokesperson, Kevin Atlas. Scrolling down, you'll come to the Empowerment Program. We're going to click on Discover ESL Programming. And you can see that there are journals for high school, middle school, and upper elementary. We're going to gain access. And when you scroll down, you'll see all the links to the high school version of the resources. So right here, you can see that there's English and Spanish journals, and they're available in Google Slides and PDF ebooks. Before we look at those, let's take a look at the Empowerment Block Plan. When you look at the block plan, it's 40 weeks, and they're in 5-week blocks within the block plan. So in the first 5 weeks, we're going to go through the 5 empowerment rights and the 5 SEL focus groups. Within those groups, we're going to be looking at certain vocabulary words, emotional vocabulary. So week 1 is trust, week 2 is enthusiasm, week 3 is encouragement, fear, and motivation. And then you'll notice for the next 5 weeks, we're going to look at those same 5 words, and we're going to reinforce them in a different way within the journal. The next 10 weeks focus on 5 new vocabulary words, followed by the next 10 weeks of 5 new vocabulary words, emotions, and then finally the final group of vocabulary words. Okay, let's head back. You can see that there's a leader's guide that will help you get your program started. There are PA announcements for all 40 weeks. So at the beginning of each week, you can make an announcement over the school announcement system, or you can do it within each class. Then there's a PDF document of academic language tools. It's essentially a dictionary of all of the academic language that's used within the Believe in You series. Now, if you were to click on the Google Slides version, your students can type directly into the journal. If you check on the PDF ebook version that I'm going to do right now, then you can download and print out copies for your students. Okay, so this is what it looks like. There's a cover page. Then it's going to talk about what empowerment is, what your journal is about, It will give you a 5-week wellness log for your physical activity and nutrition, and then it will start beginning with optimism and trust. Your first journal entries are on the word trust. So there is a Monday journal entry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday is a reflection, and then you would start the next week with enthusiasm being your word of the week. And that will continue on for 40 weeks. So there you have it. That's the Believe in You series, and it comes in high school, middle school, and grades 3 through 5 journals, free to download. They are available to be purchased as well. All right, let's head back. One way to establish a positive classroom environment is to use celebrations. Let's take a look at the OPENphysed YouTube channel and its celebrations.
And this is the hamburger cheer.
Sizzle, 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 not done yet. Sizzle, 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 not done yet. Sizzle, 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 well done.
Life is full of surprises.
This is the Incredible Hulk chair. You are incredible!
Like the Hulk!
We're going to do top shelf cheer. Ready?
You are top shelf!
To finish up, here are some tips for your school year. First, reestablish relationships with your students. Remember to have patience. They haven't been in school in an in-school setting for a long time. Review and remediate where necessary. Communicate with the students, their parents, and their classroom teachers. Demonstrate skills and the behaviors that you expect in your class. That's it. Go be great. Just 2 more things. Please complete our online evaluation below. And second, remember that Open is a public service of U.S. Games. And it would be helpful if you chose U.S. Games for all of your equipment needs. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me for Bridging the Gap in Physical Education. Feel free to contact me about this content or anything else physical education related. Take care.